The legendary founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus, are depicted in Virgil's Aeneid as the direct descendants of Aeneas, the Trojan hero whose destiny in discovering Italy from the crux of the epic. The lineage connecting Romulus and Remus to Aeneas is through their maternal grandfather, Numitor, a former king of Alba Longa, an ancient city in Latium, central Italy. He was the father of Rhea Silvia, the mother of Romulus and Remus. Prior to the twins' conception, Numitor's sovereignty was overthrown by his younger brother, Amulius, who exploited the wealth of Alba Longa's treasury to seize power. To preclude potential conflicts of succession, Amulius murdered Numitor's male offspring and forced Rhea Silvia into the Vestal Order, thus obliging her to maintain the sacred flame of Vesta, the hearth's patron goddess, and uphold vows of chastity. The paternity of Romulus and Remus is a subject of contention. Some narratives assert that Mars, the god of war, consorted with Rhea Silvia. The historian Livy contends that Rhea Silvia was violated by an unidentified man, but attributed her resulted pregnancy to divine conception. Regardless of the different accounts, the fact remains that Rhea Silvia bore twin sons in violation of her Vestal oath, which usually warranted a death sentence, often by live burial. King Aemilius featured divine retribution for the potential father, either Mars or Hercules. He chose to incarcerate Rhea Silvia and commanded that the twins be sentenced to death, either through live burial or by being cast into the river Tiber. Aemilius reasoned that by having the twins perish from natural causes rather than direct violence, he could evade divine punishment. The appointed servant, tasked with carrying out the sentence, is moved by compassion for the twins and opts to spare them, setting them adrift in a basket in the river Tiber, where they are carried off to safety. The divine intervention of Tibernus, the river deity, ensured the safe passage of Romulus and Remus, as their baskets was caught in the fig tree situated at the foot of the Palatine Hill. The first encounter was with a she-wolf, or a lupa, who provided them with nourishment. Eventually, the shepherd Faustulus and his spouse, Acca, discovered them and nurtured them, and the boys adopted their foster father's profession, becoming shepherds. During a confrontation with King Aemilius' shepherds, Remus was apprehended and brought before the king. Romulus ascended a group of local shepherds to assist in rescuing the sibling. Ignorant of true identity of the twins, King Aemilius was slain during Remus' liberation. The brothers respectfully declined the citizens' proposal to ascend the throne of Alba Longa and instead restored their grandfather Numitor to the throne. Desiring to establish their own city, brothers each embarked on a quest to identify an ideal location. Their differing choices, Romulus preferred that the Palatine Hill, and Remus opted for the Aventine Hill, and this led to a dispute. They agreed to resolve their conflict through augury, the prophecy of observing birds. Each brother created a sacred space on their chosen hill and watched for bird signs. Remus claimed to have spotted 6 birds, while Romulus professed to have seen 12. The disagreement persisted as Romulus asserted his victory by virtue of the higher bird count. While Remus argued he had won, the birds appeared faster. Romulus began to fortify the Palatine Hill, prompting Remus to scoff at his brother's endeavors. Remus's audacious leap over Romulus's wall led to his death. Remus's death is symbolically associated with Rome's impending power and destiny. The mourning Romulus accorded full funeral honors to his brother. According to Livy, the foundational event of Rome and Remus's death occurred on April 21st, 753 BCE. Romulus named the city Roma in his honor, setting up a governance system comprising senators and patricians. While its growing popularity, Rome attracted a myriad of inhabitants, including fugitives, exiles, runaway slaves, criminals, and outcasts. This gender imbalance led to the Sabine and Latin women's abduction during a Saturnalia festival at the Circus Maximus, precipitating a war between Rome and the tribes of Italy. Romulus emerged victorious, marking Rome's inaugural triumph. Despite their defeat, a Sabine king, Titus Tatius, attempted an assault on the Capitoline citadel, which was unsuccessful. A truce was eventually reached, leading to a dual kingship, an amalgamation of customs ranging from calendars and gods to military tactics. This period of peace ended with the assassination of Tatius during a visit to Lavinium. Romulus then ruled for the next 20 years, gradually incorporating lands into Rome's domain, and this would become the birth of the Kingdom of Rome. Romulus vanishes into an enigmatic manner amidst a tempest or vortex. Several purported witnesses posit that Romulus ascended to the divine realm at the right hand of Jupiter, thereby metamorphosing into a god. Livy provides a detailed account of these occurrences, while Cassius Dio narrates a more sinister scenario where Romulus is brutally dismembered by a circle of malevolent senators within the Senate House. This gruesome episode is succeeded by an eclipse and abrupt storm, which Dio conjectures to be reminiscent of the supernatural phenomena that heralded Romulus's birth. The year of Romulus' appearance is stated as 717 BCE by Plutarch, occurring when Romulus would be 53 years old. Rome would have a total of 6 kings before it would convert into a republic, and the Senate was in control the next 500 years until Julius Caesar. The dissemination of the cult of Bacchus in Rome unfolded around the 2nd century BCE. Analogous to the cult of Dionysus in Greece, from which it originated, it was a mystery cult, restricted solely to initiates for mystical objectives. The Bacchanalia, the Roman celebration devoted to Bacchus, the god of wine, freedom, intoxication, and ecstasy, similar to the Greek Dionysia or the Dionysus mysteries. The Bacchanalia likely migrated to Rome around 200 BC via the southern Hellenistic colonies of Italy. As with all mystery cults, the Bacchanalia took place in stringent privacy, with initiates pledged to secrecy. According to Livy, primary Roman literary source on the inaugural Bacchus, Pecula Ania, a priestess of Bacchus, established the first private and unofficial Bacchic cult in Rome. Livy contends that the initial cult was exclusively for women and took place during daylight over 3 days annually in nearby Etruria, north of Rome. A Greek soothsayer of modest origins had set up a nocturnal counterpart, incorporating wine and banquets and attracting a zealous following of both women and men. Pecula Ania, according to Livy, adulterated the unofficial yet morally acceptable Bacchic cult in Rome, including the Etruscan version, featuring 5 monthly nocturnal worship meetings open to all society, age, group, gender. The revamped ceremonies and initiations were marked by wine-fueled violence and rampant sexual liberty, where the cries of victims were drowned out by clamor of drums and cymbals. Those who revolted or betrayed the secret faced elimination. Cloaked in the guise of religion, the priests and acolytes violated every civic, moral, and religious edict. Livy further suggests that even though the cult had a specific allure for individuals possessing a flighty and unrefined mindset, such as the young, plebeians, and women, it permeated the majority of the populace and spread like wildfire. Even the elite strata of Roman society were not invulnerable to its influence. Bacchus cult followers soon clashed with Rome's official religion, stemming from the refusal to uphold its cultural values. This culminated in the Senate, led by Cato, issuing a senatorial decree known as Senatus Consultum de Bacchanalbus in 186 BCE. To dismantle the cult, the steps taken included demolishing temples, seizing assets, detaining their leaders, and persecuting the followers. Subsequently, the Bacchanalia persisted as festivals, but the elements of mystery were permanently discarded.